Okay. What is going on, LBHT crew B? What is going on?
All of a sudden, Panthers got the 78% chance to go into the playoffs. It looks like the NFL. We always talk about the league being rigged, right? It looks like the NFL wants some Panthers in the playoffs, wants some cardiac cats in the postseason.
Hey, you know what? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about
shout out to the Atlanta Falcons. Not taking that sweep personally. Appreciate
it. All right, y'all. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well, but if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. First of all, it is New Year's Eve. So happy New Year in advance. All right, because we obviously won't be streaming on New Year's Day, but you will see us in the new year. We are not streaming live. This is recorded. Okay. So this will be on YouTube and Facebook, not on Twitch. I'll try to post it on Facebook. I'm not sure how Twitch works in terms of like uploading things. So you're probably watching this most likely on YouTube. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right. The audio version of this will go out as well. I might even put it out early. So, early gift for you. Make sure you leave us a 5-star review as well. Look, we promised you this is going to be a awesome show. All of our shows are awesome, but this one's a little extra awesome. Okay, because we got a guest to just break down some Ravens stuff for us. Okay, and we're going to discuss the Panthers. Both teams are win and get in week 18. Okay, we're the same. You and I are the same.
No, we're not the same because Panthers are also losing get in.
Potentially. So, but we're pretty much the same. We're pretty much the same. Okay, win and get in, and both of our teams can win the division. We can both this time next week talk about being division champs.
That's right.
And the way our opponents are looking, it should happen.
Yeah.
It looked like both teams have given up.
Yeah.
All right. Tampa Bay, inexplicably, I don't know what's going on over there. Maybe a Tampa Bay fan expert can break it down a little bit more. It just seems like they quit. I don't see any reason why they should be this bad. And the Steelers, I see why they're that bad. They've
been forced to quit.
Yeah. Yes.
They got a message from the league office that said your fight is suspended for this week.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So we're gonna get right into it. Okole is still on vacation. All right. We are going to start with the Panthers. Okay, we'll start with the Panthers since we're recording now. The other part is recorded as well. We'll play that part, the Ravens part in there. So stick around for that. You're not gonna want to miss our guest. So let's break down the Panthers. They're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We already kind of teased it. How you feel about this game? This is on the road, right? This is in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, this is in Tampa Bay on Saturday afternoon at 4:30. I feel pretty good about it. The Panthers can win the division by beating Tampa Bay on Saturday, or if they lose to Tampa Bay, they can still win the division if Atlanta beats New Orleans on Sunday. Because that'll put all three of them, Tampa, Carolina, and Atlanta, into a 3-way tie, and then it'll be head-to-head amongst that group in which Carolina comes out on top.
Okay. I actually have well, I thought I had it. Maybe not. I had the playoff scenario. All right, we'll keep going.
That's it. It's just if Atlanta wins, Carolina's in, period.
Okay.
Or if Carolina wins. Now, I feel good about it. Tampa Bay has not been the team that they were at the beginning of the season. When they started out, it was 5-1 or 5-2. They've lost 7 of their last 8 and 4 in a row. And they just look like a team that's kind of forgotten how to win. Right. And they have a lot of talent. They got guys back. They got Mike Evans back. They got Bucky Irvin back. They got Jalen McMillan back. But it just hasn't mattered for them. They're just kind of mired in this funk. They can't seem to get out of it, and I don't think that they're going to get out of it this week. Carolina, they might be getting back Robert Hunt and David Moore. Hunt being the best O lineman on the team, David Moore being one of their key special teamers, and another wide receiver to further reduce get snaps. They are both coming off of IR. They both were full participants in practice on Tuesday. So we'll see. Hopefully they're both active and ready to go this weekend. I just Carolina's coming off a pretty terrible offensive game against Seattle. Only threw for about 54 yards in that game. You couldn't really get the run game going. But you know what? This isn't the Seahawks defense, and McDonald isn't coaching that team.
Yeah.
I fully expect them to bounce back. I think Tedero McMillan will be over his illness. And I think they are going to be ready to hit the ground running. They're going to give it everything they've got in this game. And like I said, they beat them a couple weeks ago. And I think that they should be able to do it again. I don't think it'll be as close as the first matchup.
I think the thing about the Panthers this whole season is whether it's a close loss or a blowout, right? They got blown out a couple times, to Patriots and the Bills. They don't hang their heads. In fact, they actually they take what happened in that game, they learn from it, and they make sure they don't make that same mistake going into the next game. Now, it's been up and down. They're inconsistent. They're not a perfect team, but they've definitely used what happened in the losses in the previous game as fuel for the following game, right? That's kind of been the trend for them, right?
Yeah.
So they played hard in this game. They had some miscues, like you said. Tedero McMillan was sick, so you could tell he wasn't 100%. And being sick as a rookie, that's different too, right? Like, being a veteran, you know how to kind of navigate those waters a little bit more, but rookies hit that wall at some point, and it's later in the season. It's just a bad time for all that to happen. But this week, he should bounce back for sure. Again, you're not playing the same type of defense, same type of coach. It's completely different, and this team is motivated. And I think they're going to look at all the things that they did wrong in that game, say we're not going to make those same mistakes again, and we're going to go out this week and win it. Tampa Bay, I mean, you losing to the Dolphins, man. You lost to the Dolphins.
Quinn Ewers.
You lost to Quinn Ewers. You're not trying to win anymore. I don't know what's going on over there, but that's something completely different. Like they've checked out. You lose a game like that means you've checked out. And the Panthers, I expect to go into your house, and I don't think it's going to be as close as it was the first game. Maybe they have some fight in them because it's a division game. It's the last game of the season, but I just feel like they don't want to go, and it's wild because they're still fighting to get into the playoffs. Like that's the wild thing. Like they should be saying to themselves, "Time to wake up."
Yeah, well, they've been fighting their way out of the playoffs for a minute. Yeah. So this is I saw this tweet. I sent it to you, but it was from December 10th because they played Tampa Bay on December 21st game. So this is well before that game. This is from PFF Moo. All right, he says they're talking about the NFC South. There's also a crazy scenario, which is 0% likely, rounded down, where the Bucs and Panthers lose out other than splitting their head-to-head. In this case, both are 8-9, and the Bucs win the tiebreaker by common games. However, the Falcons could get to 8-9 if they win out. The Panthers would win the three-way tiebreaker in that case. That's why my code has found a scenario where the Bucs root for the Saints and the Panthers root for the Falcons in Week 18. It won't happen. And then a follow-up tweet from December 22nd, where another McDonald masterclass, a Quinn Ewers breakout, and a Kirk Cousins throwback performance against the Rams away from that happening, and I'm loving it. And all three of those things happened. So here we are. The Atlanta Falcons beat the Rams just barely. Barely. Matt Stafford threw that one away. on the last drive. Like we mentioned, Quinn Ewers threw his first touchdown pass. In beating Tampa Bay, had a nice little game there, and Seattle completely shut down Carolina. It was a close game, even into the fourth quarter. And then Carolina had a couple of back-to-back turnovers, and Seattle kind of blew it open, and Carolina wasn't able to come back. So here we are. Hopefully Carolina gets it done on Saturday, but if not, everybody going to be tuning in to the Atlanta Falcons versus the New Orleans Saints on a Sunday afternoon to decide the NFC South, and both of them are eliminated from playoff contention.
That's crazy. This is the scenario that the NFL has been hoping for.
Yeah.
A week 18 where everybody's engaged, even with the teams that have been eliminated.
Yeah.
Right. Because there are possibly playoff implications for those games. That happened to us last week. We beat the Packers. Was that Saturday night? That was a Saturday night game. And it's like, okay, our season still might be over because the Steelers are beating the Browns, but people are tuning in not just because they want to see if the Browns can pull off the upset, but because you have Myles Garrett chasing history, and Myles Garrett said it, and I agree with them. It felt almost like they were playing to make sure Myles Garrett didn't get the record on them, and not worrying about winning the game. That's what it kind of felt like. It felt that way because they weren't able to move the ball. But the reality is, man, like without DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin, there's really not much you can do.
Well, it also felt that way because Aaron Rodgers made some pretty dumb throws to avoid getting sacked by Myles Garrett. One of them was almost a pick six. He literally just threw it so he wouldn't get hit by Myles Garrett.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So a couple of really poor decisions, at points in that game that made it look like, you're just trying to make sure he doesn't get it. And what a jerk. Like, honestly, like, we talk about Brett Favre and what a terrible human being he is, right? But even Brett Favre didn't do that to Michael Strahan. He said, Michael's got me. Michael's got me. Right? I'm gonna go down and he's gonna get the sack. Not I'm gonna throw it at his feet and be like, ha, you have no record for you. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, and of course, the mainstream media isn't going to talk about that story. We'll talk about that here, right? It is 100% Lamar Jackson market, whether he plays or not. But did Aaron Rodgers tank their season for selfish reasons? Right? Think about that. Think about that. Like they should have won the game.
Aaron's not invested in being a Steeler. Aaron doesn't. He knows that team's not good enough to make a run, and he does not. I don't think he particularly cares if they get to the postseason or not. And he's not going to be there next year. He's been a Steeler for one season. They're not very good. He doesn't care.
But DK Metcalf has a 2-game suspension. They make the playoffs. He's back. TJ Watt, Tomlin says, is close to returning. He might play for even in this last game. Calvin Austin might also play. They definitely be back for the playoffs. That changes things, man.
I don't really think it does. Like they're a little better, but TJ Watt hasn't been TJ Watt even when he was healthy. He's just not the same guy. And DK Metcalf being back doesn't make them a contender.
I believe anybody that makes the playoffs has a shot. Even the Steelers. Like, yes, no, TJ Watt hasn't been himself, but the playoffs is different. And like they've already beaten the Patriots before, right? It was early in the season.
Yeah.
But like any of these teams, like we say, even with the Ravens, we say it with the Ravens all the time, like, no, are they the favorites? No, but they can beat any of these teams. Any team that's in the playoffs can be beat. And for Rodgers to, like you said, like it's selfish, right? He just feels like, oh, whatever, we're not going anywhere. But like that's why it's a problem. Like he was more focused on making sure Myles Garrett doesn't get the sack record on him because he don't want to be a part of that history. Then hey, let's just get this win and lock up the division so we can take next week off and get ready for the playoffs. He's just like, nah, I don't care about that. And now you're going into the game where you should lose, and you're out. And I don't think he really cares about that either.
I don't think so. And everybody has a chance in the playoffs, sure. But realistically, they're going out in the first round if they make it. They're not a very good team. And if they beat Baltimore and they get into the playoffs, of the 7 teams in the AFC playoffs, they are the 7th best. of the 14 teams in the NFL playoffs, you could argue they're 14th best. Maybe you say, hey, they're better than Tampa or Carolina, and move them up to 13th. That's about as high as they go. Yeah. So you're looking at that, and Rodgers, I'm sure, is looking at it and saying, hey, that's another 3 hours worth of hits that I don't need to take.
Which is why he was always the bad choice at quarterback there. But that's something that has gotten overlooked, and Myles Garrett even called it out after the game that he felt like Rodgers was more invested in not giving up the sack than winning the game. That's one of those things. If that comment was made about Lamar Jackson, that everybody pick up on that. But Aaron Rodgers, it's just a throwaway comment. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, we promised you we have a special guest. This was already recorded. This whole thing is recorded. All right. But this was pre-recorded. Not too far off from this recording. Okay. So now we're going to play this portion, the Ravens, with our guest, Engraven. Yes, we are here with the CEO of Team Keep It Clean, Mr. Engraven. My friend, this has been long overdue. Overdue. We've been meaning to have you on for a while, but we're lazy. We're bad at inviting people on. But
I'm the same way. I'm even worse than y'all.
We appreciate you having on, man. A lot going on with this Ravens season. A lot to discuss. Yeah. Let's get your thoughts on it first. How you feel about what has transpired up until this point, and how you feel about this upcoming game.
I think the biggest word that I could probably use would be surprised that the Baltimore Ravens are even still in a position to where they could possibly even make the playoffs, win their division. That shows you a couple of things. One, the Ravens have been a resilient team, but at the same time, this division has just been really bad. The Bengals, obviously, they didn't have Joe Burrow for the longest, and then he came back in his first game back. He whooped up on the Ravens. The Browns, they've continued to be the Browns, and the Steelers have been the same team that they've always been, where they start off hot and everybody like, oh, Steelers, but then they start going on a downward slope and just start falling off and unraveling. But the Baltimore Ravens, they have been the same team that they've been for a long time too, to where they have just been underachieving. They've had the talent, they got the roster. There are some areas where it could still be a lot better, especially offensive line. But it's like, all right, if you were going to stick to, and I don't want to jump ahead too much, but with their roster, my concern and my surprise has been how they've handled it, because there's been significant issues on the roster, mainly with the offensive line, that have negatively impacted the quarterback a lot. It's negatively impacted the running backs a lot of the times too, but mainly the quarterback with Lamar Jackson. Literally from week one, the man has been getting beat up over and over. Week one, he took one of the nastiest hit, probably the worst hit that I ever seen him take since he's been in the league, from Ed Oliver. And then in week two, we faced Myles Garrett again. He was getting beat up a little bit then, but they did their thing in that game. But then week three, he was pressured 42 times and sacked 7 times. And I'm like, what? I didn't even know somebody could be pressured 42 times. It was crazy. And then in week 4 was the Chiefs game. And that's when before that game and weeks before that game, I remember saying that people will be asking, like, what's it going to take for them to make a change on the offensive line? And I said, at this point, I don't know. Because we kept seeing the same issues from the same people on the offensive line, mainly both guards just struggling. The whole offensive line had its struggles for sure, but the worst parts of it were the guards. And people would ask, what's it going to take to make a change? And I'm like, I don't know, because Lamar's been getting hit like crazy. And I know if we see it, the coaches got to see it too. So I would hope that it wouldn't come to him getting hurt. What happened in week 4? Lamar Jackson literally got hurt because of the offensive line, so he's out. You lose your star quarterback, and the person that's supposed to be your franchise quarterback, who you're supposed to care about, you've invested in him financially. Now around him, you should still be investing in him even more. But that didn't even force the Ravens to make a change at the offensive line. And it was just like, oh my goodness, if that's not going to force a change, then I don't know what will. So they obviously stuck with their guns. They doubled down on it. And Harbaugh continued to say, hey, that's the best five. We put the best five out there. I thought the offensive line played good. He continued to say that week after week. Yeah. But then it's like, all right, if you're going to stick with those guys as your offensive line, then how about you change up the scheme to try to help them as best as you possibly can? And there was even one week, I forgot which game it was, that Lamar even called it. I said, all of our plays are long development plays. The receivers got to get downfield. And when he said that, I said, oh, okay, Lamar. All right, now he's saying something now. But it just seems like there is with this team, there's a lot of internal conflicts with them that are showing themselves on Sundays, in some cases Saturdays, Thursdays, Mondays, whenever they play. There was a little back and forth, it seemed, between Lamar and John Harbaugh. I remember when Lamar first started missing the Wednesday practices, and John Harbaugh was asked about it. He said, I don't know. Well, we got to see how Lamar does. And then Lamar was asked about it. He said, hey, this might be an every week thing for me. And then I said, oh, all right, now Lamar. Okay, that's what we're doing then, huh? But it seemed like it just seems like there's a bit of a rift because John Harbaugh will say one thing, and then with Lamar it'll be something completely different. And I think the worst part about that we saw was when, I know I'm all over the place, but that's exactly how this Ravens season been. It's been all over the place.
Thanks.
I think the worst that we saw this season was, I forgot what game it was, but they were like, oh, Lamar Jackson, I think they said he was a full participant. But then they said, oh no, he wasn't a participant. The whole little practice squad thing that
was the Rams game. I think that might be I think that was the Rams game because he was out for Texans, Rams, and then the Bears. So it was one of those three. I want to say it was we knew he was going to be out for the Texans. I think they were saying he had a chance to play for the Rams and then he didn't play. Full participant, and then he was out.
Yeah, that whole fiasco. It's just been a mess, man. It really has been. And then of course, recently with the whole the hit piece on Lamar Jackson, the how at first when I first read it and heard about it, I'm like, why are we doing this again? But then it's contract time. It's contract time. That $75 million cap hit, it got to be addressed. So this is exactly what happened last time it was contract time for Lamar Jackson too, because before it was contract time, you always heard so much good stuff about Lamar. Oh man, he's such a great teammate. He's so nice to everybody in the building. Oh, everybody loves him. He's such a great person. But then when it's contract time, you start hearing all these stories. Oh, Lamar Jackson. Hey, I heard you don't like working out. Oh, Lamar Jackson. Oh, he was he talked about his diet and staying up late playing video games. And it's like, where was all this before? Even just last year. If this was an issue, where was all this talk even just last year? This man just threw 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, ran for over 900 yards. We ain't hear about none of that stuff. But now this year, when he's getting beat up, you hear about everything. But again, just like my mind is, that's what the Ravens do to me. My mind is a mess. This Ravens season has been a mess. That's why I've been just so surprised that they even in the thick of things still to this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking how bad this division is, and we still have a chance. Like as bad as we've played, we can still look at this and say, if we play our best football moving forward, we can make a run, right? Because all of our losses have been self-inflicted. You know, you can look at all the games, except maybe like the Texans one. Lamar didn't play that one. But even the Rams game without Lamar, we had a shot to win that game. You know, we shot ourselves in the foot, and you can look at the whole season and say, if we just don't beat ourselves, we can win. You know, so looking at this last game against the Packers and seeing how Tyler Huntley played, you know, we look at it and say, man, like, why haven't we been calling the games like this beforehand, especially when we know Lamar isn't 100%, especially when you know Derrick Henry does his best work in the second half of games. Why then do you decide to not give him the ball and we want to air it out and we want to spread the ball around? Like, that's not our game. And I heard somebody say it, I can't remember. It might have been you. I've been watching a lot of Ravens YouTubers, right? You might have said it, or I can't remember. Hendo said it, but it seems like when Lamar Jackson is in the game, they run the offense that they want to play, and when Tyler Huntley's in the game, they run the offense that they know they can run, right? Like,
yeah. That was somebody that I saw. I had mentioned that on a video because somebody I've seen on Twitter has said that. They said for Lamar, they run the offense that they want to run, but with Tyler Huntley, they run the offense that they should run with the players that they have. And it just makes so much sense, and it's just it's frustrating. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, just you mentioned the media and some of the things that they play. You're from this area. I grew up in this area. That the guys you mentioned, like that's something he's done for decades, and just and this precedes Lamar Jackson, right? Like they hit pieces on Ray Lewis. They did the same thing Ed Reed, and it's always around contract time. Because if you go back and read the old articles, it was about Ray Lewis not living up to his contract. Even though after that, in that article, he suggested that maybe move on from Ray Lewis and side with the coach Brian Billick at the time. He played for 6 more years after that, and he had multiple All-Pro and Pro Bowl bids, and of course finished his career with a Super Bowl, right? But I feel like this organization likes to use the media to downplay some of their players when they don't want to pay them, or they want the players to take a pay cut. And they used it multiple times this year, and they used it even with their coaches. I feel like those 2 articles that came out from the Baltimore Banner and the Baltimore Sun hit pieces on Todd Monken. I think that was a complete joke. That was a complete joke. So I really didn't appreciate that, for as bad as the defense has been playing, and those articles that speak so well about Zach Orr, and I like Zach Orr. You're insulting our intelligence. Like we see what's going on out there, and the problem is not Todd Monken. You know what I mean?
No, that's real right there, man. Those, it's been a crazy year, man. And those were exactly what you called it. They were hit pieces, man. They really ripped Todd Monken apart. They said, players were saying that he don't put them in positions to have success. He don't have the best relationship with players. But they continue to big up John Harbaugh and Zach Orr. And we know this defense, not only this year, but last year too, they continue to just get off to these historically bad starts, like historically bad, not just bad, but historically bad. And then once the competition sort of lightens up, then the defense started looking better. Well, hold up, man, we got something. Then they had some good games too here and there too, but the defense just this year it just hasn't been good. But those are definitely hit pieces on Todd Monken, and they didn't make any sense at all. But go ahead.
That kind of thing, though, most organizations will engage in that. They'll use the media to help them in negotiations and everything. But the difference in Baltimore is they're doing it with their quarterback, which you don't see other organizations do. When other organizations have their franchise quarterback, you don't even hear about contract negotiations. You just hear about the signing, right? It just gets done, because they don't want to mess around with the most important player in the game, the face of the franchise and everything. But in Baltimore, I said a couple of weeks ago, I really believe that their front office, their coaching staff, they don't believe in talent. They believe in the scheme. They believe in the coaches. They believe that they're more important than the guys on the field. So they don't want Lamar back, but they're not seeing Lamar as the kind of savior of that coaching staff that he's been, right? Like they were on their way out in 2018 when Lamar came in and saved Harbaugh's job. And fast forward all these years, and John's back to thinking, hey, it's me. I'm the one driving this ship. And if Lamar wants to continue to be here, hey, maybe we get a little discount on that. And if he fights it, then Tyler Huntley can do everything Lamar does, right? That's what he said. When Tyler came in, he does all the things Lamar does. And I heard that and I said, well, he doesn't win games. He doesn't go to the Pro Bowl. Well, I mean, except for the one time, right? He doesn't win MVP. He doesn't win any play. He doesn't do many of the things that Lamar does for you. But this organization, they don't like to pay players who are worth more. That's why the one guy in Baltimore who's been able to get their contract done with no fuss is Rashad Bateman, right? He's got 2 extensions because he comes in there and says, yeah, guys, I'm not worth it. And they're like, agreed. Go ahead and sign right there. But yeah, it's a bad situation over there. The worst thing about those hippies that you're talking about on Todd Monken is at the time they came out, they were one of the top offenses in the league. Like, it didn't even make any sense. They weren't struggling at that point. Now afterwards, they started to have some struggles. But when those came out, they were scoring 30 a game. It's nonsense. Like you said, they're insulting the Ravens fans' intelligence when they do this kind of stuff. I remember Ryan Mink coming out talking about Lamar ain't no Dak. No, he's not. That's why you need to pay him. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. And you bringing up 2018, that brought up memories because that's when the article came. Oh yeah, the Ravens and John Harbaugh, they mutually gonna part ways after this season. So it's like, oh man, we getting ready to move on from Harbaugh. Who's it gonna be? But then of course, insert Lamar and John Harbaugh. He's back, get a contract extension. He obviously stayed. But then you fast forward to this year. And a lot of people pointed out during that Packers game that John Harbaugh had a play sheet in his hand. John Harbaugh don't never have play sheets in his hand. We may be able to count on one hand how many times we done seen John Harbaugh with a play sheet in his hand. So a lot of people was assuming that he was calling the plays. And what you bring out also about Tyler Huntley, how not even just Harbaugh, but just a lot of people, especially after that Packers game, a lot of people have written off Lamar Jackson. I've seen Shannon Sharp talk. Oh no, the Ravens, they need, even if Lamar's back, they need to start Tyler Huntley because Tyler Huntley, he gives you a better chance to win than Lamar Jackson. And when I'm be seeing that, I'm like, what? Like, shout out to Tyler Huntley. He's cool people, man, but he's not Lamar Jackson. But with Harbaugh, it's wise man told me this years ago, long time ago. He said one of Harbaugh's best traits is self-preservation. And that always stuck with me. It always stuck with me. And I always remember that because I'm like, hold up, man. That man is really good at that because when everything is at its worst, when things are looking like, oh boy, it's about to be a wrap, they're about to tear this thing down, Harbaugh will bring out his best and his smartest. So he saw, all right, we ain't got no Lamar Jackson this game. We got Derrick Henry. And it's like the previous week, that's what the previous week against the Patriots, when Derrick Henry was going off, he was averaging 7.1 yards a carry. This man was going crazy on the Patriots, and they just stopped him. They just took him completely out the game. And what made that even more egregious is that Lamar Jackson, he ain't even playing the second half. So you should have been continuing to rely on Derrick Henry. So that was like, I don't know why they did that. But anyway, it's like in the Packers game, they did exactly what they needed to do. And we wish we would have seen that at times throughout the regular season, the past 2 seasons, this season and last season. Because what's crazy about Derrick Henry is that this year he got like over 1,500 yards, like 15, 16 touchdowns. Last year he had over 1,900 yards, had 18 touchdowns. And you see these crazy numbers that he puts up, and you could get fooled. You could think, oh man, yeah, Ravens been using him, right? No, they haven't. They leave a lot of Derrick Henry stuff still out there on the field where they could have used him even more. And what's been crazy about with him, we figured, all right, the Baltimore Ravens, they know how to get to the playoffs. They know how to win the games in the regular season, but they just need help getting over the hump, and they need help closing it out. They need help finishing the job. Boom, they got Derrick Henry. Oh, perfect person to bring in to help close out these games that they've been losing, but they haven't been letting him be a closer. So that's why when we see him be a closer against the Packers, it's like, where has this been for the past 2 years, consistently for the past 2 years? And that's what's so frustrating. But again, Harbaugh, a lot of eyes was on him. He said, hold up, a lot of eyes on me. I got y'all. Watch this. And that man just went crazy with 36 carries too. Like, what? 36 carries?
Career high for Derrick Henry. Career high.
That's crazy, man. So again, Harbaugh, he's very, very good at getting the eyes off of him and pointing them somewhere else. Because again, now the topic of conversation this week has obviously been, oh, Lamar, he's probably gonna be done in Baltimore. Get rid of Lamar. Keep Tyler Huntley. I've been seeing people even, oh man, I've been seeing people even say, oh, the Ravens, they should trade Lamar, get like 3 first-round picks, and bring in Malik Willis. I said, oh man, we back,
we
man.
got a comment like that too. They said it wasn't for first round picks, so it was bring in Malik Willis and trade Lamar for Myles Garrett.
Oh, I didn't see that one yet.
I just said to myself, I'm like, you want to give one of the best players in the history of football to a division rival and take and granted, Myles Garrett, first ballot Hall of Famer, but he ain't taking them to the playoffs. What are you gonna do with them?
Right, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's a lot of crazy talk going out there right now. But again, that the deflection, like with the hit pieces earlier with Todd Monken, that it was good timing because there were a lot of eyes on Harbaugh. Like even from the beginning of the season, like this season has been different because obviously a lot of Ravens fans have had their eyes on Harbaugh for a long time. So, hey, the Ravens need to move on. But this season, especially even after that week 1 game, a lot of people are like, hey, he need to get out of here. Maybe he ain't this hot coach that a lot of people thought he was. And then that has continued throughout this season. But a lot of it has shifted over the past 2 weeks to Lamar Jackson. Since he's been hurt and since Derrick Henry went off, now people are having all of that crazy talk.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that fans will just go along with it as well, right? I know that there's a contingent of Baltimore fans who have never been, on Lamar's side. They just never wanted Lamar to begin with. But I remember this same thing used to happen with Cam Newton in Carolina. And people would be like, oh, he can't read defenses, and he's just a running quarterback, blah blah blah. He's not very accurate, blah, 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 all this stuff. And my response to it, because I watched him play, and obviously he was a very talented player. 2015 comes along, he wins MVP and all that, and I'm like, okay, well, if you're saying he can't do these things, he can't play from the pocket, he can't read defenses, etc. I just watched him tear up this league, win MVP, and win 15 games to get to the Super Bowl. So the conclusion is either he can do those things or he doesn't need to. So it doesn't matter. And it's the same thing with Lamar Jackson. Like you talk about he playing video games. All right. Well, he's won MVP a couple of times. He's dragged you to the playoffs every year. So either he's doing the things he needs to do while he's playing these video games, or he's not doing those things and he doesn't need to. He's that good. Right. But a lot of fans are like, whoa, he's like Kyler Murray with the Call of Duty. Get him out of here. It doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense at all. But
I hate that whole narrative. I hate that. And I hate that, a so-called journalist, I don't even like calling him a journalist, he's a columnist, can put that out there and not substantiate that any shape, form, or fashion other than well, I have sources. I mean, that's ridiculous. But I mean, he's been doing that grift for 30 plus years.
See that the part with that article, we've seen plenty of articles over the years. Even last contract time with Lamar Jackson, we saw a lot of articles. But with this one specifically, this one has picked up more national steam than ever. Yes. So many of the national media, so Adam Schefter talking about it, Ian Rappaport, Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp, and Ocho Cinco on Nightcat. And there's been so many more national media people have been talking about it. So it's like it does seem very intentional, and it seemed like it's getting the job done that they wanted it to get done, and that's the biggest unfortunate part about it, in my opinion.
Well, we talked about this on the show. The media loves talking about Lamar Jackson. In the sports media, it is a Lamar Jackson market, right? Mm-hmm. They know those type of things are going to get them clicks, right? As bad as they want, as bad as Lamar is in their eyes, if you talk about Pat Mahomes, you're not going to get the same amount of clicks. You talk about Josh Allen, you're not going to get the same amount of clicks. These are all great players, but if you start talking about them, that's not going to get any traffic. Lamar Jackson will always get you traffic. So Preston did them a favor, by writing this out, and they're like, okay, this is BS, but we're gonna go with this, and we're gonna play off of this because We'll talk about it. We're gonna click on it. We're gonna read the articles. We're gonna watch the videos. So that's why they do it.
I'm pretty sure I saw a game this past week where a Super Bowl winning quarterback didn't complete a single pass in the second half, and he was going up against a defending MVP quarterback who just straight up missed on a 2-point conversion to a wide open receiver and lost the game. Not a word about either one of them, right? You've got 3 games this weekend for the division, right? The big time games. Carolina and Tampa, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and then the Seattle, San Francisco's for the division and the 1 seed.
Yes.
Why is Baltimore the Sunday night game instead of Seattle and San Francisco? Right? It's because people tune in to watch Lamar Jackson and people tune in to hate Lamar Jackson. Nobody wants to see Aaron Rodgers' old ass on Sunday night. You tune in for Lamar. Yeah. You're going to see if Lamar can get it done, or you want to get some more ammunition to hop on Twitter and talk about how Lamar can't get it done.
That's real right there.
So getting to Sunday's game, how do you see it going? Like, how you feel about this game? You feeling confident?
I'm worried because the Ravens, like, they have it. They like when you look, especially you look at that Packers game, you think about Derrick Henry, you think about this Ravens team, they should have it. They should be A-okay. You look at the last Ravens Pittsburgh game. That game should give you even more confidence that the Ravens can beat Pittsburgh, because with that game, there were 3 very egregious calls in that one. Obviously, the whole Isaiah Likely touchdown, no touchdown. There was also the Teddy Buchanan where he picked the ball off, but then they ruled Aaron Rodgers that he had control of it, even though he didn't. And then there was a special teams play where it was on a field goal, and they said Travis Jones made incidental contact with the snapper. But then the NFL told John Harbaugh afterwards, "Oh, sorry, we got it wrong." And that field goal that changed 3 points to 7 points. But I'm just worried about the Ravens doing Ravens type of stuff. A lot of times before, I used to feel like, all right, Lamar in a regular season, he obviously be doing this thing, always in MVP conversations. But then I feel like in the playoffs, I'm like, man, sometimes I feel like he tried to play like prove it ball. Like, all right, he might stop running as much, he might stop taking off as much. And I'd be feeling like, man, Lamar, you ain't got to prove nothing. Just win. That's it. Just do your thing and win. However you win, because can't nobody take that away from you. But now I just feel like the Ravens almost like they try to play prove it ball sometimes with Lamar when he's the quarterback to prove, hey, we ain't got to run it through Derrick Henry. We ain't got to use him. We got all these other guys too. And you do, but at the same time, it's like you can simplify stuff. Make it easy for you. Make it easy for yourself. Make it easy for everybody. And the Ravens just, a lot of times they make stuff overly complicated when they do not have to. Last week's game against the Packers, it's like that was an anomaly because simple game. Hey, hand it off to Derrick Henry. Like, you got all these people. Again, I got a lot of love for Tyler Huntley. Super, super cool, super nice guy too. Yeah. We had the privilege of meeting him just last year at the Lamar Day. He was super, super, super nice, super nice. But a lot of people have been praising Tyler Huntley this week. Oh man, Tyler Huntley. Oh yeah, he needs to start even if Lamar's back. Roll with Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley threw 107 yards in that game. 107 yards. Like, Derrick Henry ran for twice that amount. Tyler Huntley's biggest job in that game was dropping back, turning around, and handing the ball off to Derrick Henry. That was the most important thing he had to do. And again, he was efficient, but 107 yards. Now, he did throw a touchdown too, and that was a close one because Zay Flowers, he did make 3 football moves, but then he dropped it at the end. I said, here we go, but they got that touchdown. But so Tyler Huntley was just asked to be a game manager. It's funny you bring up Cam Newton, and that reminds me of the conversation that he got a lot of people riled up with a couple years ago when it became to game manager versus what was a game changer. I think it was game changer.
Yeah,
but,
yep.
So that's the difference with Tyler Huntley and Lamar Jackson, right? Tyler Huntley is a good game manager. He manages. It's like, hey, just don't lose it. Don't lose it for us. Just hand it off, make the completions or whatnot. Don't lose it. But Lamar is obviously a game changer. So with this Steelers game, I'm just hoping that the Ravens don't get in their own way, because they have had no excuses, but they have no excuses in this game. Like Aaron Rodgers, he can still do his thing every now and then, but they ain't got no DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf was destroying the Ravens the last time that they played the Steelers. And you really better thank that fan, even though that fan was in the wrong, and they said that fan got a history with DK Metcalf. That fan just may save the Ravens season. We'll see. But that fan also may save Harbaugh. Maybe Harbaugh can send him a little cash app or something like that. He said, hey, go mess with DK. Get him, please, because we need you. But the Ravens, they should win. But I'm not all the way calm. I'm still worried because they just be doing a lot of Raven stuff.
See that worry that you have? That's that Harbaugh factor, right? it's that Harbaugh factor. Only reason I'm not worried about it is because we shouldn't even be here. Like we're playing with house money if we're being honest about it, right? We won a game against the Packers, and I felt good. Like okay, but I picked the Browns just for being a fan. I picked the Browns to win the game. But they should not have won that game. But they did they did it, and we're here, and we have another shot at it. And like you said, no DK Metcalf, no Calvin Austin. Who's that big boy tight end that broke his arm? Donald Washington. Yeah, well, Calvin Austin, I think is questionable. He's not. I don't think he's 100% ruled out.
And then maybe TJ Watt might be out too. That's another one. Watt, and even if he does play, he ain't gonna be 100.
Exactly. So. Everybody that could hurt us could be out of this game.
It's right? Crazy, man.
So if we lose this game, that's not the team I want to see in the playoffs anyway, right? I'm good either way. I'm good either way. If we can't beat Adam Thielen and Valdez Scantling, then I don't want to see this team in the playoffs anyway. All right, put us out of our misery.
and I know a lot of people are thinking that this game could possibly maybe be to where the winner obviously goes to the playoffs. They get the home playoff game, and the loser fires their coach. But I don't know, man. Even if the Ravens lose, I'm not that confident, man, in them pulling that trigger. I'm really not, man. I think that they should, but I'm just not confident that they will.
I'm not confident they're going to move on for John Harbaugh either, but I want to ask both of you if that was on the line.
Mm-hmm.
If you say, hey, you win, you go to the playoffs, you lose, you fire your coach, what do you want to happen on Sunday?
Me, I always, and I know it sounds dumb, but I always want the Ravens to win. I always want to see them in the playoffs. So I would still want them in the play, and I know it's twisted thinking because I want it all. Like I want the Ravens in the playoffs. I obviously want them to win the Super Bowl, but I still want them to move on from John Harbaugh. And I know if they did win a Super Bowl, John Harbaugh would have even more immunity than he already got because he got a lot of immunity right now. But I want it all, man. So I still do want them in as twisted. And I know, like again, if they didn't make it, it would be a higher possibility. But again, I still don't think it's a sure thing that they will move on. But yeah, I would still want them in the playoffs.
No, I'm the same way. Oh, no, let Pete come back. There you go. No, I'm the same way. I want to win, and I want them to move on from Harbaugh. Right. If we got all the way to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, I know they wouldn't fire him, but I would hope that Harbaugh would step down. Right. Like that would be my hope. Because if you look at Harbaugh throughout this season, the way he answers those questions about his job security, they're different than before.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He's not as smug about those questions anymore. He's a little bit more thoughtful with his answers, and I feel like this season has kind of beat up on him a little bit. And even though they've tried to cover for him with throwing Tom Munker under the bus, and all these other reports and kind of putting blame elsewhere, there's still been even with all the Lamar Jackson hate out there and the reports and everything, there's still been a good amount of coverage on John Harbaugh, a good amount of criticism, not just from local media, from national media too. I know Tony Dungy and Ronnie Harrison especially always calls out Harbaugh for his mishaps in these games. So there's a lot of that talk, and I think it's starting to seep in with him, and maybe win or lose, he might be thinking it's time for a fresh start because Lamar's not going anywhere, right? Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. He has to ask for a trade. He has a no trade clause, so it's not like they can just get rid of him. And if Lamar says, "No, I'm staying," right? Then I'm staying. He can go. What are you gonna do? Like it's easy to get rid of your coach and your quarterback. So I think this offseason, if Lamar wants to change, the change can happen.
That's powerful right there.
Don's been getting downright philosophical when they ask him those questions now. He's like, what does even having a job mean? No one's promised.
Yeah, he did.
I'm like, all right, John.
All right, man. All right, we want to let you out of here, man. Appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you coming on. Before you get out of here, man, plug your stuff. Let people know where they can find you. Let people know what you got going on.
I appreciate y'all having me on, man. This was fun as always, man. You can find us our YouTube channel. It's Engraven Viz, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. It's all Engraven Viz. So I appreciate y'all, man. Keep doing what y'all been doing, man.
Absolutely. And I just want to say this before you get out of here, man. Like you and Sonny were two of the first people to shout us out and really show us some love when we started our YouTube journey. I remember before we even got on YouTube, we are just doing an audio podcast. I reached out to Sonny, and Sonny gave us the whole game. Here's what you need to do. Here's the equipment you need to get.
Yeah.
He read our articles. We used to write articles. He read our articles on his channel, and I remember you first. Yeah, Sonny's awesome. Shout out to Sonny, man. And I remember you reached out to us to invite us on to your show. You're doing the roundtable, right? It was everybody was on there. Coaches on there. Sutton, we had like 25 subscribers at the time. And I remember after doing that roundtable, we went up to like 45. And I thought we made it. I was like, 5 more, we got 50. We there, But that meant the world to us, man. Because where you were, and I mean, and you're like twice the size now. I mean, and congratulations to you for blowing up. You're almost at 100K. But for you to be locked into the Ravens community like that, the Ravens YouTube community, and see who's out there and just say, hey, let me give this person a chance. That means a lot. We really appreciate that.
No, for sure, man. It ain't nothing, man. And I just feel like one of the biggest things that always stuck with me is when I used to do Madden videos. When I used to do Madden videos, because I did that before the Ravens videos, I had maybe 15, 20,000 subscribers at a time. And I had reached out to this one guy because we followed each other on Twitter. I reached out to him. I said, hey, we should do a video collab sometime. And he was like, well, maybe when I hit 100K, because he had 80,000 subscribers at the time, I think. And he was like, oh, when I hit 100K, then then I want to start really giving back to the community and stuff. I'm like, really? You gave me this garbage answer, man. Like, again, I'm not owed anything. I'm not owed to have to come on your show, but you could be straight up with me. So I just that had always stuck with me. It just felt like he was kind of on his high horse. Oh man, since I ain't have no big channel, then I couldn't come on with him. But he still, and he just gave me that garbage excuse. But I just don't like when people. I don't like when people make it like they better or bigger than somebody else, because they not. We all on the same level. Ain't nobody bigger than the next. Ain't nobody better than the next. The subscriber count, that don't mean nothing, man. If people, if you can get somebody opportunity to come on your platform and do their thing, do it. Go for it. So, and I know we all just need a little boost sometimes too, man. We all do. That opportunity is real, because you never know who's watching, and you never know who, because there could be somebody who did watch my channel. Maybe they don't watch it no more, and maybe they could be like, you know what, Raven Viz, that channel was all right, but I really mess with Lunch Break Hot Take like that. Them boys, Jose and Brodny, oh yeah, I mess with them heavy. I love their style. So you never know, and that's not a bad thing. Yeah, so it's just that's how I look at it, man. Just everybody deserves an opportunity, man. So I appreciate y'all, man.
Hey, we appreciate you. All right, with that, man, we're gonna let you get out of here, man. Thanks for everything, man, and we'll do this again.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
All right,
and we're back.
And we're back. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Okay. Now we're going to get into court of public opinion, and boy, oh boy. The football gods continue to give us stories. All right. The sports guys continue to give us stories. This one is about the Diggs brothers. Yes, both of them on the same day. On the same day. Which one you want to start with? You want to start with the light story or the?
No. Let's start with Stefon.
All right.
So Stefon has been accused of, I think the exact charges: strangulation and
It's right here.
assault. Strangulation and misdemeanor charge of assault from an alleged incident on December 2nd. So this incident involves a private chef who he had employed, who was living at his house, who says that on December 2nd, she had been texting Stefon Diggs about getting paid, saying that he owed her a month salary. Then when Diggs got to the house, he went into a room, they argued, and allegedly Diggs slapped her across the face and then put her in a chokehold before throwing her on the bed and leaving the room. At which point the private chef left the house, went to stay with a friend in the area, came back a week later to get their belongings, and Diggs told them to talk to his assistant about getting paid. At which point, I guess Diggs' assistant told her that in order to get paid, she would have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which she did not sign, and instead went to the police and filed a report with them.
Yeah. And of course, the obligatory Stefon Diggs categorically denies these allegations. They are unsubstantiated, uncorroborated, and were never investigated because they did not occur. That's a quote from his attorney, I believe, Meyer. The timing and motivation for making the allegations is crystal clear. They are the direct result of an employee-employer financial dispute that was not resolved to the employee's satisfaction. Stefon looks forward to establishing the truth in the court of law.
It's funny because she doesn't deny that. That's exactly what led to the incident.
Yeah.
Not getting paid. And as you mentioned, that she told the police she did not want to press charges at the time, was not looking to file a restraining order. She just wanted to leave because she lives in another state, I guess. And I think part of the issue arose from in a week in November where Diggs told her that her services weren't going to be needed and she had to leave because I guess he was having guests or whatever. And like I said, she doesn't live in the area. And, obviously he didn't offer to pay for a plane ticket for her to go back home. So she stayed with a friend and, she kind of argued with him that she should be getting paid for that week because she didn't request the time off. And that's kind of the normal way that those arrangements go. Right.
Yeah.
But, I think this comes down to he, at the time he's saying, yeah, I don't owe you any money. You've been paid, blah, blah, blah. And then when she comes back a week later, before there was any police involved or anything like that, him saying, hey, yeah, we'll pay you if you sign an NDA. For what?
Right. If nothing happened, I'm not paying you. Right.
Yeah. And it's not just a regular, hey, you've been around, my house and my family, blah, blah. I don't want you talking about it because you didn't tell her to sign an NDA as just a term of employment to begin with.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it's one of those things where it's just like, hey, I'm just going to pay you just because you're harassing me about it. I don't want this to be a big deal. Take the money. You don't need an NDA for that.
No.
You just say, hey, you know what? This is more hassle than it's worth. Take the money. I'm not going to work with you anymore. I'm not going to hire you anymore. But take the money. I wish you well, and I'll go look for some another personal chef. That's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works. But sign this NDA and then I'll give you the money for what?
Yeah.
And to be fair, that's her account. He didn't say
right.
that.
Yeah, and her account is also that he did not fire her. Right, like she left employment on the day of the alleged incident and quit working for him. So yeah, I mean, obviously, they're going to be looking more into this, and the team is aware of it. They're going to be looking into it. At this point, I mean, it doesn't sound great for Stefon. and she's not alleging any injuries or anything like that. She said she had some just redness on her upper chest, but didn't take any pictures of it or whatever. Said that he had slapped her and kind of put her in a chokehold for a minute and then threw her down on the bed. So not a whole lot of physical injury there, but more of kind of just an intimidation, I guess you could say. But yeah, this is a terrible look for Stefon Diggs, and I guess we'll have to wait and see what further comes out, over the coming weeks.
So my thing is this, this is a court of public opinion. We don't have all the facts. We can only base our opinion on the little facts that we have, little information that we have, and that is a little information. All we have right now is allegations, and Diggs denied the allegations. But I take into consideration other allegations that Diggs has had against him in the past as well, right? Mm-hmm. And when you see a pattern of this, and just some of the things I've heard about him growing up in Maryland, D.C. area, I factor in all those things too to formulate my opinion. It doesn't look good for him.
Yeah.
Right. I tend to lean more towards what the accuser is saying in this case, and I could be wrong. Like, as more information comes out, I change my opinion on this, no problem. But as it stands right now, I'm leaning more towards he did this. He did these things, right? Like that's just it's just kind of a weird allegation to make over a financial dispute, right? If it's a financial dispute, she could sue over that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, you owe me money. You don't want to pay me. All right, I'll take you to court and get my money. Like, why would this element factor into it?
Right. And we don't know Stefon Diggs personally, obviously. But you do know that financial arguments like this do get heated at times, right? Mm-hmm. Especially when you're talking about people who aren't like Stefon Diggs isn't a manager. He's not normally in that kind of a position, right? So yeah, I mean, I could see a text conversation turning into that, especially when you have that person living in your home. Yeah. And again, like, you've been working for him since July, supposed to be throughout the end of the season, and I can certainly see a Diggs saying, you know what, you weren't here for this week, so we're not going to pay you the full amount for November, right? And that kind of being something that sparks this whole issue.
So okay, so was that something like, did she request that time off?
No, he told her to leave because he said we don't need you for, I forget what dates it was. It was about a week or so in November, and I guess he was having family over, and he said, "Hey, I don't need you, so go home." And her issue was she doesn't live in the area. She can't go home because you're not paying for a flight to go back. And so she ended up just staying with a friend for that time because he told her she had to leave the house also.
See, that's another thing too. Like, you have somebody move in with you, like that's their place of residence, and you're telling them to leave for a week. You have to compensate them for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's obvious. And he might be paying her well. I'm assuming he's paying her well, but still, like, she shouldn't have to come out of pocket for that. Like, you're displacing her for a week.
Mm-hmm.
It just from out of good gesture, because it's like you want good private chefs. Like, you want the best out there, and you don't want to just get anybody. And those top chefs aren't going to work with difficult people.
Yeah.
Especially if they're like, hey, we need you to stay here with me, right? During that time, they like, word gets around. You want to be somebody that's easy to work with, and you can be demanding, but you gotta be you gotta be easy to work with. If just a kind gesture, hey, yeah, I'm putting you out for a little bit, but I'm gonna put you up in this nice hotel or whatever. You got a friend, whatever. Hey, we'll send you a nice Airbnb. Go. I'm paying you for a week vacation. Go have fun or whatever. I'm gonna pay you. Don't worry about it. You got the money.
Yeah.
Right. You got the money. You flaunt the
money.
Maybe you don't.
Maybe
they don't have a private chef. Right. Yeah. Don't have a private chef. Start meal planning yourself, or
well, you know what? In this scenario, if you made good decisions, you'd have the money, right? So you never know.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm saying guilty for right now. I'm saying guilty for right now on Stefon Diggs. He has too many allegations levied upon him. I don't like I don't like it. I've heard too many things about him. I'm leaning towards on this.
Yeah, and I always go back, and I know this is unrelated, but I don't know if you remember when he was playing in Minnesota. They went around the locker room and they were asking all the players, who would you least want dating your sister? Every single one of them immediately said Stefon Diggs.
Yeah,
and like I said, it's unrelated, but it's just like, why does everybody think that about you?
I don't know if it's unrelated. I think if they went to trial, that evidence would be submitted.
All right, so Stefon Diggs has a brother by the name of Trevon Diggs. Plays for the Dallas Cowboys. A couple of years ago, he was
played
in talks for the Defensive Player of the Year award because he was getting a pick six a game, basically. Wasn't a very good corner because outside of those, taking chances on and getting those interceptions, he got roasted a lot. But not a terrible player by any, and he was a young player as well. Fast forward. He signed I believe it was a 5-year, $97 million deal. He ended up tearing his ACL, and so he's been rehabbing that. I think there was a little friction there in terms of the team wanted him to rehab with them. He wanted to rehab on his own, but he came back from that and rejoined the team and has been playing. Has not been playing well. Apparently, for this season, when targeted. Opposing quarterbacks have a perfect passer rating of 158.3, which is not ideal. Not ideal. Now, granted, again, he is coming back from a torn ACL. He did have a concussion that kept him out for several weeks as well. So, you just chalk it up to having a bad season, in terms of injury recovery. But a couple of days ago, he was released. Or waived by the Cowboys. He's going through waivers. I don't imagine anybody's going to claim him. It's going to cost him around $500,000 for the rest of the season. But he just hasn't been playing well, and nobody wants to take on that contract. So I imagine he's going to hit free agency and be able to sign with whoever wants him, and hopefully for him, he gets to catch on with a playoff contender and try to make a run. The other part of this story that came out was that around Christmas, he had asked the team if he could stay in the area because they were playing Washington, and obviously we mentioned the Diggs family is from the area. He wanted to stay and spend time with family, which apparently is a very common request in the NFL when the schedule permits. And they played on a Thursday, and the team said nah, and he was like, "That's weird." So he asked again, and the team was like, no. and he was like, I'm just gonna, if we go back to Dallas, I'm just gonna turn around and get on a plane and come back anyway. Like, why can't I just stay, essentially? And they decided to be dickheads about it and just be like, no, you can't stay here. You're coming back with us. And that happened basically right before his release.
Now, is that like, are they telling him no because they plan on releasing him and he has to report back to Dallas for that to happen? Or
no, I don't think he has to be there to be released.
So yeah, that is a jerk move, right?
Yeah.
Like whether you're playing, like, and if this is the reason why you released him, it's like it's not one of those things where like he showed up late for practice or film, and you're just like, hey, you know what, you're not playing well and you're not doing the things that you're supposed to do to prepare for games. He's making a reasonable request. And you're just like, well, no. Why? Like, does it like what does it matter?
I think it has a lot to do with opposing quarterbacks having a 158.3 QB rating when targeting him. I think that they're upset about that. Obviously, they gave him a huge contract. He hasn't lived up to it. Part of that obviously due to injury. There were some tensions with his rehab as well, and I think they're just not on great terms with him, and they're like, don't ask me for anything, because they're the Dallas Cowboys and they react emotionally to things that don't require an emotional reaction.
I'm with them on all those things. We paid you a lot of money. You're not playing well. Um, you're not rehabbing the way we think you should be rehabbing. Just we cut you for that. But if you're cutting him because he requested to spend more time in the DC area after a game, I can't get with you on that. Right?
The thing is, yeah, you're upset about the way he's been playing. Maybe you're upset about the rehab thing, which I don't know why you would be, but I mean, some teams just want players to rehab with them, I guess, to make sure they're doing it or whatever. All right, none of that is personal, or it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be holding it against him personally. Like, like I said, he's not like he's getting in trouble off the field. It's not like he's showing up late or sleeping through meetings or things like that. Like, you made an investment in him and it went poorly. It happens, and it happens all the time in Dallas. So I don't know why this would upset you so much to where, because he's not really asking for special treatment. Like, you could argue that it's special treatment, but they say it's a common thing.
Yeah.
There's no reason to deny it other than you just want to be petty with this particular player.
Yeah, no, that's it.
But again, this is what we always talk about, why bad teams can stay bad. Like, you have fostered a negative environment in Dallas. They have talent. They've had Dak for a while. He's a pretty high level quarterback. They got CeeDee Lamb. They added George Pickens. Javonte Williams having a great season. But on the other side of the ball, you're missing some talent there, right? And they've had a lot of injuries. But your best player is no longer on the team. Why? Because you refused to sit down at the table and pay somebody what they're worth in Micah Parsons, right? Now you're telling this guy who you thought was going to be a star corner for you just a couple years into his deal, man, yeah, no, you don't get to spend time with family because you suck.
Right.
And now we're going to cut you because we don't want to pay you because we're upset we made a mistake.
Yeah. And again, that speaks to the organization, right? Because that's one of those things other players are gonna look at, but like, really, you didn't want to pay Micah Parsons, you're cheap on that, and now somebody that you did pay, Trevon Diggs, is asking a reasonable request, and you cut him for it. Like, it's paid, like to his point, hey, you gonna make me fly back just to turn around and fly back here for what?
Yeah.
And they said good point, you're cut.
Yeah. But no, I think it's a poorly run organization, and I think that with Jerry Jones there, he's desperate to try to put together a winning team, and it's causing him to be erratic. And this is a part of it. I think they're both a little guilty on this one. Like, he does suck, but I mean, so that plays into the release part of it. But the whole you can't stay back and see your family for Christmas, and I mean, even just, hey, we're going to cut you at the end of the season for no apparent reason. That speaks to Dallas and them not really knowing how to run that organization at this point.
Yeah, and this is another reason why contracts need to be fully guaranteed, right? You need to deal with the consequences of your actions, well, good or bad. Right. And just because you don't like, because what if his injuries, he's just not 100% over it, and what if next year he plays at an all-pro level again? What if he's getting 10 turnovers again, right? You're mad because he's having an awful year. It's an awful year, but you invested in him, so there is something that he did beforehand that made you believe in him to earn that contract, and it's up to you to get him back to that point.
Yeah.
But when you don't truly invest in somebody, you can sign them 1 minute and then toss them away the next. No, man, you invest in these players.
Yeah, and to your point, because again, you can easily make the argument that injury played a huge role in how his season is going.
Yeah.
But the fact that he came back from the torn ACL means that he doesn't get the injury guarantee because he played again. That's only if you get a career-ending injury.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree that you hear teams and the bootlicking fans all often talk about, oh, honor your contract. Well, the teams don't either.
Right. There's a perfect example of it right here. So I'm all for it. So when players hold out and like, hey, give me more money, and y'all get mad about it, this is why I don't get mad, because things like this right here, things like this, just because he's playing bad doesn't mean you don't honor the contract. So if he overplays the contract, right, you don't think he should get more money?
No.
When players say, hey, you know what, I see Sauce Gardner making this much money with the Colts. And I had an all-pro year. He didn't. I need you to redo my contract. Y'all don't think y'all don't sit there and say, yeah, you're right. Like you're the best. You should get the highest paid. It's always the opposite. Well, you're not this person.
Yeah.
This person's making this much. You shouldn't get this much. But when they outplay that person, it doesn't follow that way. And y'all got to stop caping for these corporations, these teams, because they don't give a damn about you.
Yeah. But I do agree in part though, because when you draft a guy and you have a certain expectation for the level of play that you're going to get from him, and let's say that they play pretty close to it, but they don't really reach it, at least not consistently, and then you look around and you're like, man, the guy that we drafted right after you won Defensive Player of the Year, and then you turn around and you're like, oh, you know what? He is stepping up his game. And then he gives up 3 out of 4 touchdowns to the New Orleans Saints. I mean, this is not specific to anyone, but you give up 3 out of 4 touchdowns to the New Orleans Saints in games that you needed, and you lose both those games. You're like, man, I wish we could take some of that money back. But like that's just it's a general thing. Like you feel like, hey, this guy let me down in a big spot. I wish we could get a refund on that.
Are you saying you wish you would have left J.C. Horn in New Orleans after that?
I said it's not specific to anyone.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up there. We don't have any submitted questions, right?
No
submitted questions this week. All right, we're back to normal next week. All right. It is New Year's Eve. This will be out on New Year's Eve. So if you're going out tonight, be safe. Have fun. If you're on the East Coast, stay warm. But we'll be back here same time next week, live. So we'll be interacting with the chat live on air. This will be out as a premiere, so we'll be in the chat box as well. So we hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Engraven, for joining our show. Finally got you on here after like 6 years. We're going to have some more guests on here, too. We got to get some Ravens content creators on here, so we're going to reach out to them. As I expect, both of our teams are in the playoffs next week. Okay, fingers crossed. All right. But be safe out there. Enjoy. Happy New Year. We will see you in 2026. Let me get this ready.
Also, if you're watching now, the show is over. So go ahead and turn on the TV. Watch Miami beating down Ohio State, because, as always, it's all about the U.
Also, I didn't even plug this. Patreon.com/LBHTShow. Go ahead, sign up there, or the channel membership. Little as $5 a month, because we are going to be doing the overtime show. I forgot to mention that too. The overtime show is going to be starting. You should already have the link for it. I usually post it on recordings about 15 minutes prior to the end of the show. So go enjoy that. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. All right, y'all. Happy New Year. We are out of here. Peace.